All right, folks, welcome back. 2017 Buick. It's Encore, I believe it is. And by the title of this video, a little out of the norm for us. You got to take a guess, and by that, sometimes I mean you got to take a guess. Sometimes it's more feasible economically to take a guess than it is to spend hours into a diagnosis. And this is a good example of that. And this happens sometimes in our industry. So this vehicle is having a couple issues. Got issues with his blind spot monitor, which we're gonna fix. But in this case, he's having a problem with his intermittent ABS light. And some days it comes on, some days it doesn't. And sometimes you have to drive the car for quite a while to get it to come on. And it throws a code for the left front wheel speed sensor. Sometimes it throws, I don't know, I think they were like open circuit code, circuit low, circuit high, circuit implausible. Everything always pertains to the left front wheel, and some really kind of just bizarre codes there in that left front wheel. The connector's a pisser to get to. You've got to pull the wiper cowl and stuff off to get to the wheel speed sensor connector. GM active wheel speed sensors in general are difficult to diagnose because when they set a fault, they shut that circuit off, and they can be kind of a pisser to go through and diagnose. So a couple options: we can drive it around and around and around and wait for the light to come on, and have a scope hooked to it and kind of see what's happening, and try to get that circuit to reset, which, like I say, is a real pisser on GM. Or you can spend just a couple bucks and buy a wheel speed sensor and put it in it and take a big fat guess and spend a whole lot less time. And then after that, if the customer still has a problem, at that point you can spend some more time in it. Now, I know that sounds completely the opposite of what we normally do, but like I say, these sensors are really cheap. Experience tells me when I start seeing these codes, it is typically just a failed sensor, and I just think this is the best approach. As silly as it sounds, you just got to trust me, folks. Sometimes it's okay to take a guess. I'm not sure why they hid the connector here under the wiper cowl, but they did. So we have to pull the wiper arms off to get under here to get to the connector, to get down there to take the speed sensor out. Looks like we're gonna need a 15 millimeter McCoy deep socket on a ratchet. There's that McCoy, thank you. So usually this style arm, you don't need a puller. You can crack the nuts loose. Just give it a little push. And usually they'll wiggle right off there. There's that one. There's that little guy. And we'll just pull out these push nails here, I believe. Maybe I didn't have to take it all the way off. We just got to be able to get up in there to unplug it. You can grab a little pocket screwdriver there, McCoy, and grab the ones on that side. Oh, this side's all broke. So there's supposed to be some retainers on this thing. 3 of them. These ones are all broke off. Makes me wonder if it's had a windshield put in. Let me show you. So there's supposed to be a retainer here and here. Those ones are broke. Let me see the one from that side, McCoy, so I can show them what it looks like in case you're trying to get these off. So, well, this one's got one broken one. That one there. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. It showed on the picture and service data. Yeah, definitely some broke off. Some broke off both sides. Here's that one. So this style here sits inside the window seal. There we go. Is that rubber? Yeah, see, somebody's been here because like this, these rubbers are all tore up. Your rubber's still attached over there.
Yeah, but it's all messed up.
Let me just unhook the washer hose over here. Do all of that so we can get down here, and right there Right there is our connector for the ABS. So I'm going to set you guys down. I'm going to unplug that. We're going to give a little visual inspection on the harness here. Make sure that we don't see anything or we do see anything. This is a really tough system to get to. ABS lives down here. Everything's kind of pretty compact. Now we've already looked over the wiring harness and stuff, down that way, just kind of visual inspection, make sure we're not seeing it rub on anything. So we're gonna raise it up, we'll get that wheel off, we'll get the connector off, and then we'll just fish our new one back up through there. So I just unplugged it. Oops, hopefully I didn't dump it. There we go, actually pull it out. Do you guys see that? You see what's in that connector? Let's see if I can't dump it out here for you. No, I can't. It's full of mud water. It's full of muddy water. So that's pretty interesting. And then you see the red overspray on it, or the red paint there? If I remember it, I think this car's been wrecked. Because we see it's still got a GM window on it, according to the label over there, unless they put a GM window in it. But now we've got to get this connector off the body here, and we're going to look in the other half of that, because the male half here is right full of muddy water and a little bit of corrosion. Aha! I see, said the blind man. As expected, this half had water in it also. I don't know if we're going to be able to see this on camera here. We'll try to enhance. But those connectors are corroded. Hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know if you can or not. You might have to trust me, or you're looking at my corroded thumb. Come on, focus. Well, not working out like I wanted to. There we go. Yep, so she's crusty. We're gonna have to get a connector also. So it's a good thing we come in here to take a guess and finish our visual inspection, because that led us right to the cause here. Now this sits in here upside down like this, so I don't know if, the cowl draining down on it, or what the case is here. Not good either way, unless it had water in it from when, body work was done, and been painted and stuff. I don't know, hard to say, but in either case, we need to get this half of the connector. We're still end up putting a wheel speed sensor in it, because those pins are super corroded, and I don't know how far down into the harness it has gotten. So there's the answer to that. It's a good thing we went through to do finish our visual inspection rather, and we were gonna guess and put a speed sensor in it, but we obviously found what's going on here, and it's still getting a speed sensor ultimately. Napa has one of those connectors. We won't be able to have it till this afternoon though, so you guys stick around, only be a second, but as soon as that shows up, we're gonna cut that off, and I think we'll probably, once that connector's in, I think we might tape right over top of the whole thing, because I don't know if that water intrusion is from, a previous repair, the connector sat open, or if it's water intrusion from the water coming down in the cowl, sitting on top of it and, wicking down through the pins. So I think we're gonna kind of err on the side of caution. We'll end up, heat shrinking and crimping that on there, and then we'll probably just tape up the whole thing just to be safe. Boy, just the joys of looking for the wheel lock. Classic mechanic problem. I don't know if we have to take this all the way down. It's already missing a retainer that goes up in there. You can definitely tell the car's had body work just because of all the stuff that's broke and or missing. So I'm just gonna reach up in here, fish the wire out that we already disconnected up top. So there's that. And then there's one little fastener Christmas tree back here. I'm just gonna give that a yank. The new sensor comes with it, so if it breaks, it doesn't matter. Mother of pearl. All right, so I've got that out. We're gonna go ahead and pull that retainer and this retainer all the way down through, and then this snakes all the way down. And then where we might have an issue is trying to get it out of the hub. So we're gonna take and pop these little fellas off here first. Oh, look at that. It's come right out. I told McCoy it's probably gonna be seized in there, but that worked out pretty good for us. Down in the aluminium. So we're gonna clean this up just a little bit. We'll get the new sensor stuck in there and then fish it back up around through its holders here. You read the comment sections, McCoy?
Yeah.
Oh, you got one down lower there, buddy. And You don't understand the McCoy Bones reference any more than I do?
No.
Because we're not a bunch of sci-fi nerds. I didn't watch Star Wars or Star Trek, I don't know. It's one of the two. Looks good. She's all up in. Looked like it was a OEM sensor in the Napa box, which is great because we couldn't get it from GM because they're on back order. But it came with a lot of paperwork here. I don't want to translate it all, but this is genuine GM on it. That's the Napa part number there. Made in China, just like the car. There's the number on that if it's helpful to anybody. We got our new connector, so that's good. I lifted up the plastic here, a couple bolts all down through here, just lifted it up so we could get a little better shot at this. Took the Tesla tape off from that. Appears to have a gray wire and then a gray with white. These are polarity sensitive, so we are going to keep a little bit extra on here so we can see who's who. Gray with white went up towards the latch. I'm going to trim these wires back a little bit. Not a lot, we'll leave them a little on the longer side. So gray with white we're going to hook to black. So we'll strip these back. Red wire feels like it's a little heavier gauge. I'm going to get a couple butt connectors. Yeah, it is. So the black is a lighter, the red's a heavier gauge. The ones on the car are both the same size wire. Kind of difficult to see here where I have you guys. Let's see if we can't get those stripped back. We have to get a different pair of strippers here. These wire strippers are kind of neat because it allows you to come in, you know, head on with them. Snap-on makes them. PWCH7, in case you're looking for a pair. Probably can find some, you know, aftermarket, or not aftermarket, just a, you know, different brand there. We're gonna twist these around. Slide that little fella on there. Make sure when you're crimping insulated connectors, you use the correct portion of your crimpers, otherwise you're going to poke a hole in it, and then the heat shrink and adhesive in it is irrelevant. That was easier. Letting you guys just look at the back of my hand. So, like I say, we use the crimp and seal connectors here. We've had really good success with these. As long as you buy the ones that have the adhesive and stuff in it, you can see it kind of oozes out as you heat shrink that down. But as I was mentioning, you can see there's no poke holes in these. And I'll show you over here. We can just use this piece of wire here, for example, to show you what not to do. So we'll strip her back. This one's a little long, but it don't matter. When you put it on here, your crimpers, they have that side that's got the little nipple sticking off there. That's for non-insulated. Use the side here that has just the hole in it. That's for insulated connectors. So if you use this properly, you know, your crimp will look something like that. And that's, like I say, that's for insulated connectors. Now if you take and use the non-insulated side, you risk the chance of poking a hole through the insulation. We'll see if it works here. So it crimps down, makes a nice little crimp, but the problem is you've pierced through the insulation there, okay? So when you go to heat it, oftentimes, this one will probably self-heal and make a liar out of me. But we let that shrink down. Oftentimes that'll leave some metal exposed, and then the corrosion starts and then this connector is worthless. Of course, this time it didn't really happen. You can see the indent there, you know, where I crimped it wrong. But I've seen it more often than not when you do that. As soon as you heat it, if this thing has a little slit in it, the whole thing pops open. If you don't notice it and you've got this underneath somebody's car, well, that's it. And it's hard to say, you know, whether or not there is, you know, where the dent is in that, if it's, you know, exposed or not. But I guess we could poke at it with something and see, but you can see the difference from the non-insulated crimp to the insulated crimp. as far as that's concerned. So anyhow, for what it's worth, that's what I'm talking about when I tell you to make sure you use the right side of your pliers. Well, right here, we're gonna have to salvage this little clip. Our new connector does not have this option to put that on there. However, on the speed sensor itself, so this is the old one, on the new speed sensor, it has the option on the sensor, so I'm hoping that we can just slip this little guy. Oh no, see, it works, is it backwards? No. I'm hoping that we can slip this into the sensor. Yeah, it's not quite perfect, but we'll be able to slip that in. That way there we can latch it back into the body where it should be. So, because like I say, the connector is a little different design than to have that on there, but we'll make it work. We're gonna come in clutch now with the mini roll. Just your 10 mil, wrap it with some tape. I'm going to go over top of our butt connectors. It's kind of difficult to record this because I need to stand pretty much right in your path. But you can envision what I'm doing. I'm gonna wrap these little guys up just for an extra layer of protection. I think we would be best served to cover up that whole connection because we don't know where the water intrusion came from. I'm going to start back down here on the loom. I'm going to follow it all the way up. We're going to make the connection. I already put the little Christmas tree fastener on here, and then we're just going to stick it back where it was from the factory, in which case it sits like this on the firewall. I suppose we can stick it like this, you know, however we stick it in there, leave it laying sideways. It might be a good option too. We'll give this a little spritz of fluid film or something that is dielectric. These sensitive, or these circuits, these active wheel speed sensors are very, very sensitive circuits. So you have to be cautious putting anything in there that's conductive. There. It looks to be a bit of a mess, you know, with tape wadded all around the connector, but I think it's our best bet, in my opinion. I did spritz a little fluid film in there to hopefully drive away any moisture, if any is making its way some unknown reason. Can't use my words. So now I'm just gonna go down and plug this back in, or reinstall it here in the firewall where it was, hopefully. All right, well, there it is. Let's see if I can move my light so everybody can see. I know it bumps the mic and then it sounds terrible on the YouTube, but so there it is, reattached. It kind of wants to lay in that vertical position here, and I know it looks to be a bit of a mess. However, this is a big water well down here, as you can see down there. Let's see, enhance. See where that leaf's laying? So that's the drain, that's the cowl drain. So as all the water collects, you know, it collects in this well, and then providing that is not plugged up with leaf litter and debris, you know, it drains out. So yeah, some real piss poor Chinese engineering there. Let's put the connector down in the water hole. Perfect. All right, what could go wrong? It's all good till it isn't. That's what they always say. That's how the old saying goes anyways. Get this line back up. Get these little guys lined back up. We'll get our bolts back in this. I'll get the vacuum here. We'll suck out some of the leaves and junk that are shoved over here. We got leaves, we got whole sticks, lots of things. So we'll get that cleaned out, get this cowling back on. And that should resolve his issue. So it's a good thing we took a big fat guess. So that's all pushed down. Let me show you how the washer hose hooks up over here. What's up? We haven't seen you in a while.
I'm still here.
I mean, I see you every day. You're lucky me. People haven't seen you. What's up?
I needed to know something.
Be right back, folks. Think somebody special? No. It's a business, woman. Pure business. So
Pure.
what's up? What's new? Got your nails there.
Getting older by the day.
That's right, every minute. All right,
I gotta go.
deal with the people. So this is your washer hookup. It has a quick connect on it, so you squeeze the little tabs, okay? So I don't know if you guys can see here, my hand in the way. That clicks together. To unclick it, you squeeze it and wiggle, wiggle. My hand's right in the way so you couldn't see it, so it's like magic. But, you know, just give it a little squeeze, little pull. All right? And then that has a little trough that sits in where it comes through there. Sits like that. We gotta go through, put our little clips on. Put our little rubber piece back in here. Put the, like I say, this one's all tore up. The other side was tore up worse. Get that wiggle down past there, get her lined up. Reach behind, stick the Christmas tree in, line up in there. Nobody will ever know it's torn, except for the 20,000 of you that watch this. You'll know, but don't tell anybody. Oh, attaboy. That's a good job, Eric. So that's it, folks. It wipes, it squirts. That's what I wasn't here for. But that's all together good. ABS lights how I started the car up, and that's, well, it was off when we brought it in, so we're no further ahead than we were, except it should be fixed now. I don't want you to look at this video and think that I'm an advocate of guessing, because I'm certainly not, even though that's what our initial intention was in this video, which ultimately led us to, you know, the wet, crappy connector that was corroded. So good on us. However, if I had gotten there and the connector was clean and dry and happy, I still would have put the speed sensor in it, just based off from the data that I could see that was saved in a scan tool, old historical speed sensor, irrational data, and, you know, circuit low, circuit high, circuit open, and plausible. You know, everything was saying, you know, something's going on here in this left front wheel. Nothing visual outside of, you know, getting down inside the cowl really said, you know, hey, here's a problem. No harnesses rubbed through, clean connectors, you know, no corrosion out here, nothing like that. So I just want to be clear that when I do something like this, I often don't. I try not to guess. Usually here's how this typically will go. Customer comes in, I look at it, they say, oh, well, you might have to drive it for, you know, 2-3 hours one day and try it again the next day, and if it doesn't come on, do you know, next day. Like, that can accumulate a lot of time. I like to do, as Keith from L1 Auto Diag says, is the juice worth the squeeze? In this case, is it cheaper to just take a guess, be transparent with your customer and say, hey, I want to take a guess. If you're willing to, speed sensor's super cheap. Takes, you know, an hour to put it in, or whatever the labor time is on this to put it in. Here would be your cost on a guess. And potentially, if I'm driving this thing for, let's say we got 3 hours accumulative in it, this is way cheaper than that. And it's highly probable that it will fix it. But it is also possible that it won't. So I try to be, you know, very transparent with my customer. Make sure they understand. If I don't think they understand, I won't do it. And then I leave it at that. And in most cases, they'll say, yeah, you know, go ahead. But I also have restrictions and limitations to myself when it comes to this. You know, if this thing came in and I said, oh, I think it's the main brain box down here, that's going to be $800. You want me to get one? I don't know if it's going to fix it. I would never in a million years do that. I would rather be the guy who says, I'm sorry, I can't help you, I can't duplicate it, and I can't fix it. So we can either A, wait for it to break permanently, or at least become more persistent, or you can go somewhere else and they'll heave parts at it. So hopefully that kind of clears some stuff up and maybe explains the, you know, guessing portion of it. And like I say, fortunately for us, it led us to the corroded connector, which if the customer wanted to go ahead and do the testing, it would have led us right to the same spot, and, you know, we would have stopped right there. So that's that. Hopefully it all makes sense. And if it doesn't, go in the comments section. I'll be waiting for you down there. Questions, comments, concerns. Find us on the Insta, the Facebook. Just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.